Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Burdick, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. Battle Spirits Saga is a fairly new trading card game from Bandai, and the more I play it, the more I like it. I did a whole video covering the immaculate tension that this game has, and one element I touch upon in there is the mechanic built around managing your cores. This isn't meant to be a full tutorial of the game, though I am working on that for later, but I do need you to understand what the cores are and how they're used for the rest of this video to make sense. So for now, I'll just say this. Each player starts the game with 5 life cores and a small number down here in their reserve. At the start of each turn, you'll add another core to your reserve and then use those to pay for your spirits, nexuses, and magic. Spent cores pile up in your trash, and then, during your refresh step, they return to your reserve to be used again. That is, except for the ones that you've tied up in keeping your spirits alive. Each spirit needs a minimum of 1 core on it, and you can add more to level a spirit up, which can give it better stats or unlock entirely new abilities that might change the course of the game. So cores are a very important part of Battle Spirits Saga, and the game makes this clear by including them with almost every product you can buy. For example, if you pick up one of the starter decks or the aptly named core set, it will come with a little baggie of plastic cores. These are featured all over the game's marketing too, and that's because they look great and they're really fun to play with. They're small enough to fit into a mint tin or the dice tray on the bottom of a premium deck box, and it's pretty easy to tell at a glance how many cores are on a given spirit and how many are in your reserve or trash. The downside to the plastic cores is that they're kind of lightweight and sometimes roll off the table, even though they do have a flat bottom. They're also small enough to get lost in the art of some cards, which can make it difficult to quickly read the field. Fortunately, the game provides an alternative. In every booster pack, you'll get a core card, a lot like the token card you get in your Magic boosters. You need about 20 to 25 cores plus a single soul core, which you must be able to tell apart from your regular cores. So you'd have to open an entire booster box to get enough of these cards. But for some of us, that wasn't really a problem. Anyway, the advantage of the core cards is that they fit right into a deck box and are even easier to carry around than the plastic gems. You can slide them right under the cards in play, which does not obscure the board, but it can result in some crazy stacks when the game goes long. Core cards can be flipped over to help with this. They'll have a number on the back, which can be used to represent multiple cores, and thus condense the number of cards on the field, but you lose out on some of the cosmetic appeal. The important part is that the game already does give you 2 great options for representing your cores, both basically included for free with every purchase. But since the rules allow for just about anything to be used as a core, this is a perfect place to add some bling to your game. All we need are about 25 cores plus 1 soul core, which must be visibly distinct from the rest. And with that in mind, I've got some ideas on how you can make your cores stand out at your next game night. I'm going to split these ideas into 2 categories: replacements for the plastic cores and replacements for the card cores. Let's start there. One easy way to replace the card cores is with cards from another game, like maybe Magic the Gathering. Basic lands are plentiful and offer a huge variety of options that can share the theme of your Battle Spirits Saga deck. Snow-covered lands match the frosty look of the white cards, for example, maybe with an ice-capped mountain serving as your soul core. Yellow spirits are playful and dreamlike, making the Theros Beyond Death lands a good pairing. The Dragon Mountains from Jumpstart could serve as the cores in a Star Dragons deck, maybe with a Soul Core Infinity Plains to capture their cosmic nature. The full art basics from Dominaria United or Neon Dynasty can work with all sorts of decks, but the washed out landscapes of Innistrad are especially perfect for a purple player looking to cast their deadly balance against a helpless opponent. And if you're willing to go outside Magic, the energy cards from Pokemon are also a great substitute for core cards. Pick one type to be your basic cores and a contrasting one to be your soul core, and you're all set. Now earlier I mentioned that players start with 5 life cores, and as you take damage, those drop down to join your reserve and become regular cores you can use to pay for other cards. So this gives us an opportunity to do some fun stuff and maybe tell a little story with our life cores, since we're using cards. The Panorama lands could make for interesting life cores. Start with a full 5 cards to represent your vast empire, and as you take damage from your opponent, the lands fall away, reminding you to fight for what territory remains. And if you need those life cores to match your others, just put them all in clear sleeves with another basic land facing the opposite way, so you can flip them over as they join your reserve. Or grab some of those art series cards that nobody seems to know what to do with. Why not represent your life cores with 5 beautiful, timeless lotus flowers, each getting plucked for the war effort as your opponent starts breaking through your defenses. There are lots of ways to use cards from other games as your paper core cards, and I would love to hear your ideas down in the comments. But what if you want something you can really get your hands on? How can we upgrade the default plastic cores? Well, glass stones seem like an easy swap. They'll still look impressive, but won't roll off the table as easily as their more rounded plastic cousins. You can get them in a variety of colors, so again, you could match them to a specific deck, or just get the ones you find most attractive overall. Another option might be something like Lego bricks, especially the studs, which are semi-transparent and have a flat bottom, while also coming in a rainbow of colors. Just remember to grab one that stands out from the rest for your soul core. Your local pet supply store might carry something like these glowing fish tank stones, which are a bit irregular in size, but all pretty smooth and still easy to count out. They really pop against a darker colored playmat, and the glow makes them great for those late night games. I've saved my favorite for last, which is poker chips. It's really satisfying to stack them up in your reserve and watch your resources grow each turn, and they're easy to lay on top of cards without obscuring too much of their text. And thanks to the little flourishes on the edges, it's still pretty easy to count them up even as the game progresses and stacks become bigger. I can fit about 30 chips in a deck box, and I carry a red one for my soul core, which is also easy to track as it moves around the field during gameplay. The only downside I've found so far is that the weight of the chips can make it a little hard to pivot a spirit around to show it is exhausted when it attacks or blocks, but I mostly play aggressive decks that don't pile too many cores on one card anyway, so it's not a big deal. Battle Spirits Saga continues to fascinate me, both with so many ways to build your deck and so many different ways to customize your cores. I love the hefty feel of my poker chips as I size up my opponent's spirits, but what about you? Which idea do you like best for blinging out your cores? Do you prefer paper or plastic? Let me know down in the comments, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the great stories you'll only find here on Magic Arcanum. We'll see ya!